Today's announcement by the Bureau of Economic Analysis that our economy grew once again at an anemic rate, 0.5% during the first quarter of the year, is more than discouraging, but yet not surprising. Whether it's burdensome regulations, whether it's a broken tax code, whether it's a continued plunge into national debt, the Obama administration's policies have been and are a dead weight on our economy. The president continues to make big promises and insists his policies are effective, but the facts speak for themselves. Under President Obama, the median household income has decreased in this term and remains 6.5% below its pre-recession level. If this was our average post-60s recovery, individuals would have nearly $2,700 more in their wallets. But instead, they have received a $3,000 per year decrease in their income. This is unacceptable. Well, while the president continues to say that the economy is improving, it's clearly not reaching its potential or anywhere close to its potential. And at some point, you just have to acknowledge the policies aren't working. I mean, here we are, 8 years from the beginning of the recession. And to sit in the White House and insist that our policies are working, hang in there with us, folks, things are going to get better. And then these statistics come out that things are not only not getting better, they're getting worse. We're not only moving closer to the average level of recovery after a major recession, but we're moving further and further away from it. Our current annual growth rate in this recovery is less than 2%. Although in 2016, with this quarter's report, we're off to a very weak start. But if this were an average recovery, we'd be seeing an annual growth rate of somewhere around 3.5% to 4%. I served previously in Congress during the Reagan years, and the growth rate during the Reagan recovery was 4.5%, which is well more than double what it is today. So I've seen firsthand how pro-growth policies turn around a dismal economic situation, but I haven't seen it here in Washington. Where I've seen it is in my home state of Indiana. In 2005, under policies that clearly weren't working in Indiana under a Democrat administration, Indiana faced a $200 million deficit. And our state had not balanced its budget in 7 years, even though the state constitution requires that we do that. Under the leadership of former Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels and current Governor Mike Pence, Indiana has reduced spending, cut taxes, and paid down its debts. As a result, today, instead of a $200 million deficit, we have a $2 billion surplus. And we enjoy a AAA credit rating from all the credit rating agencies, and we've been listed in index after index as the state to go to for low taxes, business-friendly, family-friendly, tax-friendly. And so the contrast between this and the state I represent and the policies that have been put in place there and the policies that have been put in place here, the contrast is dramatic. And by the numbers, by the indexes, it's clear. It's clear that this federal economy, under the policies of this administration, is simply not making any progress. And I think we see that playing out here in the election for the next president. It has become a major campaign issue, and we hear it talked about on both sides of the parties. Over the past 3 years in Indiana, private employment's grown by nearly 130,000 jobs, reflecting the results and success of Indiana's pro-growth policies. Employers are taking notice of our healthy business climate and coming into the state to establish new businesses. The resurgence of growth, I think, is proof that sound economic policy works. I've seen how it works in Indiana, and I'm simply not willing to accept the stagnant rate of growth here without trying to do something about it. Unfortunately, we're at the last part of this president's term, and I don't think anything's going to change. No indications at all from the White House or even from our colleagues here that they're willing to now at least debate and put into play those policies that bring about economic growth. In order to boost economic growth, we need to reverse the failed policies of this administration by overhauling our tax code, stripping away unnecessary government regulations, to give employers policy certainty they need to grow their businesses and create jobs. Follow the lead of states like Indiana, Ohio, and others that have turned their states around and made prosperous states and bringing prosperity to our people. Congress can take action to encourage our economy to grow, but we need a partner in the White House willing to cut the red tape, willing to enact pro-growth reforms and put in place a real plan to address the debt. Mr. President, I hope I don't have to come down here in another quarter to report another anemic rate of growth that is keeping the American people from enjoying the kind of prosperity that we need simply to pay the bills, pay the mortgage, send the kids to college, put aside money for the future. That's not happening, and it needs to change. And hopefully we can take a lesson from what we learn on these quarterly reports, that the policies in place simply are not doing the job.